SSN, episode 3. One thing I want to say, do plan on getting this in HD and 4K and all soon. It really just boils down to the computer I have is pretty antiquated and ancient, but my camera is not. So, yeah, once I do that, once I get one, I will have it in that. But for now, don't care. Testing the waters with this shit. Also testing the waters with being able to put things on screen and put music in the background. I know I can do it, but every time I do it, it starts cutting out on the audio. So I got to figure out why it keeps clipping. So for now, I'm not doing that. But I do want to go through the news and just provide the more rational take, because people think sarcasm is just this, it's a way to make fun of things, and it fucking surely is. But it's a way to just honestly, just a way to deal with it. You know, you could just read the news and just accept it, or you could read the news in just the way that it's meant to be read. Or close enough, anyways. I'm not gonna say I'm the best, but someone doing it in this style. I'm not the only one. I got inspired by others. So. Oh, bad news right away. 2 people killed, several injured in a targeted shooting at an ice skating rink. Well, I'm sure that there won't be some people on CNN right away blaming guns for that. Because I know that it's been normal that guns have gone around. They're the only inanimate object that I know of that's actually gone around and just started firing by themselves. Ask Alex Baldwin, too. Or Alec Baldwin, whatever the fuck his name is. Ask him. He'll just be like, it's true. Sometimes those guns just fire. Because according to him, he never even fired the gun. Like, I mean, he could totally probably still get away with it, and he is. But he could still have gotten away with it if he said, oh yeah, I shot it, but they just bitch put in a real one and not a blank. But he has gone with the idea that it hasn't fired, because guess what? There is a trend emerging, and it's been a problem every single time I hear of a shooting, a school shooting. Unless they're white males, then it might be a right wing thing. But every other time, it's because of the gun. The gun did it. So, yeah. And then they start talking about the person. They start almost immortalizing the fucking killer, and they don't say shit about the victim. So I mean, the way they cover news in this country is just, it's just so upbeat and positive. If you're a psychopath. So if you think that the news is upbeat and positive, then you should be checked into some sort of psychiatric facility immediately. I would say. I'm not a doctor, but I am smarter than most of them, because I think most of them follow a curriculum that's complete bullshit. And that's not, I know. I'm not saying I'm smarter. They're smarter in a lot of ways, okay? But I'm smarter than a lot of them in a lot of ways too. And no, this isn't a personal ego thing. I think most people are, okay? I think most people are. But you're just used to it. It's like a fucking train thing. It's like when you get potty trained, you trained where to piss. Well, that's a good training technique, but we also got trained to always ask the doctor every time we have something wrong with us, instead of looking at what we're doing that's fucking up our own health. Maybe just stop doing that, and maybe some of the problems will go away. But I digress. The FDA are going to act on ultra-processed foods petition, is what RFK is saying. Can't really trust the FDA. Or can we? I mean, they did say the only way humans can tolerate milk is a pasteurization, which I don't know how long it's been around, but it sure as fuck has not been around as long as humans drinking milk. But yeah, we're made to believe that this process is something that we have to have in order to tolerate it. How do the Amish survive, man? How do they survive without all these things we absolutely need to live? Yet they survive. They survive. So I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe they're immune to bullets too, because knowing this country and knowing the lovely people that run the government that love to enrich themselves and rob and steal from us. I think one day that they're going to find out if the Amish are immune to bullets too, because it's startling all the things that they do that go against what the American government wants them to do, and they're still here in the territory. Like, that's kind of crazy that they're even doing that. They're still like allowed to be around. But pretty soon religious freedom will be gone. But okay, because whoever does it, they will have a good reason for doing it. Okay, they'll be like, look, we're doing it to protect you. Okay, and if they're saying that, then there's not a scam involved. So yeah, and so we can trust RFK and the FDA, and doesn't matter if he's getting caught up in weird sexting things and all this other shit. I don't care about any of that, but is he really getting things done? I don't know. Trump went and tried to act like a bunch of autism is caused by Tylenol. I mean, I don't know what to say to that other than you can just look at the year when the vaccine schedule went up and like tripled. I think it was like 1988, 1986. I don't know the exact year, but it was the late 80s. And ever since then, look at the autism rates. But that's just a coincidence. Because we do live in a world of coincidences. I mean, 9/11, I totally believe that story. One guy planned it from a cave in Afghanistan. He's like, all the resources we need is box cutters. And we can take down the multi-billion-dollar air defense system that Americans have that the Russians couldn't take down. And they were able to successfully do so. And there was nothing sketchy about the fact that all of our other, planes in the sky, they were like scrambled and didn't know if there were war game. They were literally war gaming that day, and they didn't know what was real world and what wasn't. Coincidence, man. It's a coincidence that 3 towers fell when only 2 of the planes showed up and hit it, and the other plane didn't get there, and it landed somewhere else. And who knows where they landed? But it just looks like. Didn't that look like a plane crash site? That looks every plane crash site I've ever seen looks exactly like that one. You just almost no physical representation of wings or anything left. That looks exactly like every plane crash I've ever seen. So anyone who questions a narrative on that is a wacko, man. They're just fucking conspiracy theorists. I didn't mean to go off on 9/11, but I'm just so passionate against those idiots spreading misinformation on the web about 9/11. And why would anyone say that our greatest ally in the Middle East, that's Israel, that they had something to do with it? Just because they found some people who were dancing and happy and they had explosives on them, that is no reason to in any way be suspicious at all. In fact, those people were probably just celebrating a birthday, and those explosives were probably meant in self-defense because they knew Osama bin Laden might come, and they were trying to save the day. That's probably what they were doing, I think. But you guys, hey, you judge for yourself. But they can do no wrong, man. They can do no wrong. You want me to be a robot? Goy? I'll be a robot Goy. We all gotta be robot Goy. And keep spouting the lines. Do the robot Goy. Do the robot Goy. Girl or boy, they'll use you like a toy. It ain't your choice. They'll take your voice. And if you try to speak against them, they'll shoot you in the motherfucking throat. It's like Charlie Kirk in that book that he supposedly wrote, but it was actually his hoe that was probably in on it too. Oh, sorry, you can't ever blame it on a boo. Anyway, sorry for that little freestyle. I just had to, just want to again shout out Erica Kirk for being the most believable person in the world when I see grieving. Like I said, some people just grieve great, and gotta grieve great. I mean, you gotta dream great, you gotta live great, you also gotta grieve great because, you know, what's gone is gone, okay? You're gonna dwell on it, you're gonna dwell on it, you're gonna dwell on it. Your husband, you know, that was doing all the work and making sure everything was ready for you and, you know, very spiritual. It's just more important to do your own, to take over everything he did and go in a different direction. So, good job. Good job, Erica. You know, you don't come off suspicious or shady at all. Not at all. Not at all. And the theatrical performance, the fucking fireworks. Okay, let me step outside the sarcasm. Literally, the fireworks, the theatrical performance. Jesus, I mean, come on. I would, if I was your PR guy, I'd be like, hey, tone down. Don't be that obvious about it. I know you're dig. I know you're really happy, but yeah, shh. But I would have said a long time ago. And again, I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just saying it looks bad. And like I've said before, me saying it looks bad. What can I say? A lot of people are saying it. You gonna sue the world? California coast braces for dangerous storms. Because every year, California gets burnt to the fucking ground. And I do think that every single governor is encouraged to up the number and the number of what am I trying to think of, square feet or acres that gets burned every year, because they seem to break records every year. And when I lived there, it always seemed to happen. Like, there's arsonists, they don't really get in much trouble, despite the fact that people die. And I mean, some have. I'm not gonna say none have, but a lot of them haven't though, and have gotten let go. And those fires can burn down a shitload of acres, all kinds of trees, and just Gavin Newsom will give a press conference and he'll be sitting there looking like the Joker. I mean, literally having this weird fucking smile on his face while there's just like a hell behind him. God, if I could pull up that clip right now, but if you just type in Gavin Newsom press conference during California wildfires, you'll eventually find the one I'm talking about. It just looks like it's just all just dust and dirt behind him, and he's just smiling while he's saying how horrible it is. I mean, these people aren't good actors. If they're, it's just like Erica Kirk. She's not a good actor. If you clearly have a lot of sketchy shit. You've lied a lot, confirmable lies. I can say that. And there's shit that you're hiding. At least be a better actor, okay? Because whoever trained you sucks. They fucking suck. You don't pass the smell test. Stink. Now, father of accused Georgia high school mass murderer on trial for murder. Is that separate to the? Oh no, he's also. I guess he gave. How old? Well, he gave his son an AR for his 14th birthday. What the fuck kind of an idiot is that? What did he give him for his 13th birthday? Prozac? Shit. His 16th birthday, he knew wasn't going to come around. Either that or he might have got shot too. But yeah, I'm pro Second Amendment, to a degree, okay? To the legal degree. It's not legal for a fucking minor to own. So yeah, totally. Yeah, he kind of deserves to go to jail for that. Yeah, he definitely does. He's responsible. But I do think that at a certain point we might have to arm our kids. Just saying, like I do think at a certain point it's just gonna become like the need thing to do. Okay, just make sure they're not taking certain medications because they'll probably end up shooting you rather than defending you. But you just got to know the right time. There might be a time when you need them to defend you. But if you're one of them people who just your kids are like on TikTok all day and you don't really like, they kind of ignore you, and they're just going to school and like kind of you're not allowed to meet their friends, then don't be surprised if you give them a gun, then they're just gonna come back and kill you and your whole family, because that's the recipe for what it is these days. A weird sort of promoting of being like almost not around your parents or around your family, and not that there's promoting of that, but it seems like there's a lot of that, and then those are the kids who end up killing their parents. It's not parents who care too much ever usually who get killed. Maybe they care a little bit and they try to discipline them, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you. But usually it's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's justified actually, and if like there was some sort of like abuse growing up. But again, yeah. Well, yeah, murder is never really the justifiable thing unless it was like molestation involved or something. And I'm definitely getting demonetized for everything I'm talking about. But that's the thing, though. All these topics, though, they're real world topics. It's just, I'm just thinking in my head, what would actually, be the proceedings, and I guess or to justify a kid killing their parents, and it would have to be like what I just said right there. Then I can kind of understand it. Then I would understand it. But other than that, yeah, you're just fucked. But anyways, in this scenario, the dad was a psycho, handed the fucking kid the gun. Happy 14th birthday! Not like a 14-year-old's gonna want to shoot it. Not gonna want to use the thing you just gave him. No way. And he's at the age where he can make a mature choice. His brain's fully developed. So, right on, Dad. I don't know how many people are dead, but it's over your head. It's on your fucking head, you piece of shit. And, yeah. More U.S. firms to enter Venezuela in new months. That's good. I'm glad that we're forcing our way in there, just like we forced the president out. At first it was because of his communism, then it was because he was a narco-terrorist. Now I think they're just admitting it's oil. At least they're admitting it. Yeah, like, just forcefully just take everything, why not, We don't have enough enemies in the U.S., so it's okay if we make one or two, We don't have enough enemies in this country, so just making, like, one more, not a big deal, okay? It's not like they're gonna come to our country. They're immigrants and commit any acts of crimes or anything. No, they come here, they'll be very grateful for what we did to their country, and I'm sure that they'll be model, upright citizens that love the government of the United States of America. Going on. Trump says he'll announce $5 million in donations for members of his Board of Peace. Yeah, and have you seen some of these members of the Board of Peace? They're the most peaceful people I've ever seen. They're so peaceful, in fact, that they stop wars by starting them. Yes. And I'm not George Orwell. I'm telling you what they're telling me, okay? So, that's how you stop a war, is by bombing the holy shit out of people. That's how you stop it. And Board of Peace is all on board. Literally, their meeting is just like them, like generals, just sitting there, like, okay, so if this happens, this is what we're gonna do. If this happens, this is what we're gonna do. It's just like the Department of Defense, which Trump actually, I gotta give him credit, went and named the Department of War, because that's what it is. But this whole Board of Peace, just consider it like the Department of Defense. It's really the Board of War, They're the Board of War. I mean, the last country that joined it has to prove that. And if we are in it, then we also, yeah, it's not a peaceful board. We're in, all of them are in active wars right now, being some of them being accused of things such as, should I use the word? Let's just say just killing a lot of people. In a cleansing. And I'm just trying to avoid keywords, man. That's all I'm trying to do. But I think I already fucked it up, and it's gonna get demonetized anyways. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to tell the truth. But I'll still avoid the buzzwords as long as people can understand what I'm saying. If there's some other song I can switch this to, because I hear the same shit for 45 minutes. So, anyways, next thing. They're still going on about that Nancy Guthrie. They won't stop talking about her. They've been covering her nonstop. I think it's sad. Not really gonna be sarcastic. I think it's sad. It's just it's a distraction or something. The amount that they're covering it, but they're saying now that the Guthrie family are cleared as suspect. Well, that's good to know. I actually saw the first video and thought one of them looked a little sus, but I shouldn't. I'm glad that they were cleared if they really were involved. Okay, I'm gonna have to go to another news source because I want to get different perspectives. That was legacy news that I was reading. That's why I go on long tangents, because they just easy to remember these people talk about. FCC makes final ruling on Bad Bunny halftime show. FCC makes a final. Okay, so this has been a huge story for some reason. The Epstein files are out. They're finding out that people are like literally cannibals and say worshiping they're in cults and torturing people and all that. But at the same time, they want to just talk about Bad Bunny and their rivalry halftime show with TPUSA is very who's led by a very non-suspicious person after a very non-suspicious event happened. And we trust Cash Patel and every word he said about that 30-06. But the FCC has heard the complaints about the vulgar, often profane lyrics of the Super Bowl halftime and reached its conclusion. I haven't read it yet, but I guarantee you, they don't give a fuck. In response, concluded that the lyrics performed were scrubbed of the lyrics that normally include references to sex acts and genitalia. Really? I know for a fucking fact. I don't even speak Spanish. And I heard a couple of words in there, but whatever. I don't even care. This story is not worth, like, getting emotional about or having an invested opinion and really giving a shit about. One of those distractions, as I'm saying. But I definitely heard curse words in Spanish because that's the only Spanish I know is curse words. So had the lyrics not been scrubbed, the Puerto Rican rapper and the MFL could have found themselves in the crosshairs of the FCC. However, they're going to tell the FCC is lying and saying that he did remove it or bleeped it out, which worked to remove or bleeped out anything that would have constituted an infraction. Well, anyways, that's not true. There was definitely cuss words. I don't care though. I still don't think they deserve that. But that was a lie. The story was a lie. When they said they would do something about it, if it was in breach, they definitely were breached. But who cares? Just let him do his whole all Spanish halftime show in for a very American sport, and where the country's supposedly official language was recently changed to English due to Trump. But Trump, what are you doing? I'm seeing more commercials in Spanish than ever. I'm seeing these types of things, and yeah, it's just another Trump administration great thing. He's just doing so well. You can't really criticize this man. I mean, or else you're just a failed politician and a loser, and all that. But he's just delivering on his promises so much. How many people in the deep state have been arrested? Well, maybe not yet, but we'll get to them. We'll get there. I hope that someday we'll put out indictments in places like New York where they'll surely get convicted, and there's surely not any fucking political bias. That's where we'll do it. Good job, Trump. Good job with the people you picked to put around you too. Good job. I mean, you really showed your true colors very soon into this. And that's one thing that I can say unsarcastically. And I'm so fucking glad you did. AI is coming and there's nothing Hollywood can do about it. Well, Hollywood probably is dying for AI to come. They ran out of fucking ideas. I haven't seen really an original movie that was good in a long time, man. Maybe there's one I'm missing out on and forgetting, but unoriginality's out of control. Even when they reboot shit, they fuck it up and make it worse, and it's usually on a high budget. They're just and then like Snow White, they let one actor who's probably the richest little person in the world say that it's offensive to all little people, and he screwed him out of all kinds of money. And so yeah, he can play demeaning roles for his people, but it's offensive. He's made all of his money, and now it's offending him. So I forget that fucking guy's name, but he's a piece of shit, obviously. And I'm sure if I was a little person, if I was born that way, right? I would hate that motherfucker. I would hate him. And also, the bitch for Snow White also ruined it too. So it was pretty fucked from the get go. But yeah, movies have just gone down the shitter completely. I mean, so if anything, AI might restore it for some short time. But they do blacklist people who are good too. Don't forget, one of the greatest actors of my lifetime, Mel Gibson, blacklisted because he happened to say some things when he was drunk on the side of the road that now everybody says on pretty much every podcast everywhere. Isn't that funny? Maybe he was a little ahead of his time, but I'm not saying everything he said on the side of that road was true. I don't actually agree with everything he said, but he was fucked up, okay? And he was getting a DUI. He knew things were going bad. He was angry. There were some people he wanted to lash out against, and it was the people who had been attacking him for the last few months, calling his movie anti whatever made up word they always like to use, But no, the leader of his faith is Jewish, and it showed a very brutal ending, but obviously that is based on reality. But I hope maybe he can come back and make another movie. He's supposed to make a part 2 to that. I don't know if that's necessarily the movie I'm hyped to see, but I'd be willing to see it, of course. There's a lot of movies I'd be willing to see, but again, Hollywood's been shit lately, so maybe ChatGPT can write better scripts. We'll see. We'll know when it's ChatGPT scripts too, because out of nowhere, they'll just not reference something out of nowhere. It's like two people like make a reference about how they were a friend 5 years ago, and then later in the movie they don't recognize each other. That'll be a ChatGPT type of movie. But that's okay. That bothers me a whole lot less than them fucking up classics, which is what they do. So yeah, that's that. Western Digital sells out entire 2026 hard drive inventory as AI data centers gobble up supply. Yeah, great. They're learning more. The one thing that's that makes you feel good about the AI is that it's learning more. So yeah, as long as it learns every single bit of information, I'm sure it can't turn against us. I mean, I think they turned Grok like on a hardcore mode, like they turned it up, and then all of a sudden he started sounding like a reincarnation of a certain Austrian painter. Crazy. So this is a great heartwarming story. I love this. After publicly fleeing the US over Trump, Rosie O'Donnell returns to the US to see if it's safe. So this bitch, I just for the record, I'm my family's from Ireland, but I'm first generation American, so I claim Americana, but I'm Irish too, full blooded anyways, but I'm from here. But this bitch moved to my fucking homeland, damn near tilted the whole fucking island over because of her fat ass, like literally almost tilted the whole thing into the fucking ocean, sank it. She was a literal weapon, like a bomb when she got there. I mean, the fucking airline had to fly like a whole 10,000 feet lower just to haul her ass. And she's been like the sea levels have actually like risen around just Ireland since she's been there. So she's coming back to see if it's safe. Well, I know that if I were Ireland, I would legitly get I would get a missile air defense program to make sure that if she tries to come back, you stop that, okay? Because I mean, literally, you don't want any more of this. I mean, seals are dying on the coast and shit. I mean, because they think they're like higher up in you know in feet and they're closer to the ocean and everything. And in fact, they're just being the whole island's being sunk slowly because this fat ass dumb crazy bitch. So she needs to I guess come back here. I mean, it would be cool if she just like went to Canada or like Mexico or like anywhere else than those two countries in my mind, because it's like, or Japan too. Yeah, don't go to Japan. Japan's smart. They wouldn't fucking let her in. But I'm just saying though, the if it's pretty much any country other than Ireland and America, yeah, that's safe for you, Rosie. And it's safe for you here. I'm not making no fucking threats, but it's just you're a threat. You're a fucking threat. You're like a dust cloud of horrible ideas and just negativity and fucking. I feel so sorry for any daughter or anyone that you are taking care of, because you can't be an unfit parent. You're clearly mentally ill. Every time I've ever seen you talk since like Trump started running, you've been absolutely deranged. You're a fucking lunatic, okay? And I can't even sarcastically pretend you're fucking in a normal right state of mind. I can't do it. It's just too. It's too out of the. I could probably do it for ISIS before I could do it for you. And not saying that you're worse than them. I don't think you're worse than them. It's just more of a. I can't get inside your head. I can't get. I can understand why people hate countries that fucking screwed them over a lot. I still don't think what they do is a valid response, but I cannot understand someone who grew up with the fucking silver spoon in her mouth, had shows and millions, and just still acts like she's this huge victim. You're not a victim of shit. You can move wherever the hell you want. You have that kind of money. You just moved to Ireland on a dime, and you realize they don't fucking like you there. And I guarantee you, wherever you move, they're not gonna fucking like you. They don't like you here. So, is it safe? It's never gonna be. You're never gonna be in a place where everyone's gonna agree with you, bitch. And that's what you want. And so, therefore, you're never gonna get it. So, nowhere safe for you. Just live in a fucking boat in international waters and just make sure the boat is made of some sort of fucking titanium shit, because otherwise it's gonna sink, okay? Like a submarine isn't good enough, because submarines are not meant to go down too deep into the ocean, and you will make the motherfucker go down too deep. Your fat ass will do that, okay? So yeah. Not just yeah. Make sure you get a good boat. That's what I'd say, and then you'll be happy and the world will be happy and we'll be united. I think we can unite everybody on that one, I hope. Okay. Now, I'll start wrapping it up here. Um someone said the SAVE Act is equivalent to the show me your papers law. I don't know, bro. I'm not going to even read the fucking article. I'm just going to say that it's a Democrat saying it, so he's probably exaggerating. Then again, they are deporting people who actually weren't here illegally because they were protesting Israel, and you're allowed to protest in this country, but since you're not a citizen, that's the loophole they used. But dude, this is a foreign country. If you're not a citizen, you're protesting our country, maybe I'd understand that. That's what other countries do. You go to fucking China and protest China, you're going the fuck to jail right away. But you come to this country and protest Israel, and guess what happens to you? You get deported back to wherever the fuck, whatever country you're from. It doesn't matter. So that's where we're at. That's the state of politics we're at. The president of the United States is sitting in Tel Aviv right now, and it might not even be the guy that says the prime minister. No, it's more than likely a very, very high donor who, was giving that guy cigars and has him on a whole corruption case, but definitely supplied him with a lot of stuff. I also think, that person also owns our president and their president, and it's clear as fucking day. And, Yeah. Zionism is going to lead to another bloody revolution, so we cannot allow it. We cannot allow it. It is anti Zionism is anti-Semitic and anti-Christian at the exact same time. It must be stopped. That is the one sarcastic thing. Or that is the one thing I'll say that is not sarcastic at all. Absolutely from the heart. Truly have to get that out there. Here, let me just read one last story and then Marco Rubio, on Iran talks. We were dealing with radical Shiites, so radical that they're we're surrounding them with military bases and yeah, driven by pure theology. What theology? Is it similar to the theology that people have where they're just like, oh, all these people who actually hate our Savior were promised this land? Is that the theology? The theology that we have to give them everything and we got it, whatever they do to the people that live in their land, it's okay. It's because it's them. They're our greatest ally. And it's not theology that we want to protect them and protect that land. No, it has nothing to do with that. Not at all. No way it could be that. Marco Rubio, a guy who was literally voted on by every single person in Congress. So every corrupt and non-corrupt person voted on him. Which is crazy, which makes me think there's no way you can say there's one person who's non-corrupt, because I would have just been there and been like, wait, if you all are voting on them and I know you motherfuckers, okay, I'm voting no. So that's the kind of guy that's running foreign policy, and so we should all just know that World War III will probably happen very soon. And El Paso airspace shutdown is a symptom of a long-ignored cartel drone menace. Sorry. It's insane, bro. Cartels and drones. Look, bro. They did underground fucking trains. They had underground shit. You think they're really, if they're gonna deliver shit, they're gonna do it with something that can hold a lot. And drones are not at the point of holding a lot yet. So I'm sure that the cartel is invested in heavy drones that can pick up things, and they're investing in it very heavily in the stock market, because this is something that they want that technology there because it will help. But right now I don't think it's that big of a menace. I mean, there must be some people maybe just in the border cities of Mexico that's probably just flying over like fucking 20 bags of coke. I mean, that's not a big deal, bro. We're worried about the heavy shipments, okay? Drones ain't gonna bring the heavy shipments. They're not gonna bring in the amount that's gonna kill a shitload of people. I'm being serious. I hardly see that at the moment, but I do think that the technology eventually will be there to carry very heavy supplies of a lot of things. And if you can't see what's in your airspace with all the radar and technology we have, then it's being purposely ignored. And that our government would never do a thing like that. They're noble people. They would never do anything to help bring drugs into the country. Don't remember Iran Contra. Shh. Have a good night.